Hey guys, this is a continuation of the second or the first video I made, but what I wanted to, and this is going to be a much shorter video, what do you do when you're doing everything right and still things are not going right your way, right? Okay, so I wanted to bring this point out because from a personal experience, what happened to me is that when I was done with my undergrad, I was looking for a job, and I was doing everyone's resume, I was making their cover letters, I was telling them job interviews. I got like 10, I think 15 job interviews, yet none of the interviews were good enough for me to just go and get a position, and it was frustrating. It was extremely frustrating because as a determined guy I am, I really wanted to just sign my first dream job, or whatever my first job would be, just to taste the ambience of it. And that was the most difficult part. I'm seeing all my acquaintances and my colleagues getting a job, and here I am jobless, helping them. They're achieving success, I'm not. What can I blame it on, right? To a certain extent, I can blame it onto myself. Okay, maybe I'm not being well prepared for the job, maybe my resume is off, maybe my degree is not aligned with the experience or the work that they were looking for. Okay, that might be one factor, but really, I think, then you have these other factors that come to the point, right? You can say it's not in your fate, right? It's not in your fate, or God is testing me. The problem with that, even as a determined Muslim I am, the problem with that, this is a non-abstractional element, right? It's not a tangible good. You cannot say that this was karma, or you cannot say this is fate, or you cannot say that God is testing me. These things are in a cloud. You cannot grasp them because they're not elements that you can grasp, be tangible on it, and put it on a physical table. It's very hard to say, oh, that's karma, or that's that's fate, because it's non-existence. You can't see it, and it's frustrating. It's so frustrating, and that's one of the most daunting tests I've actually come across in my life a lot. That I don't know what I was doing wrong, even though I was doing everything right. It's just things weren't working out. And the prime example of it is probably Kai Green. I don't know if you guys know Kai Green, but he's an amazing bodybuilder, life philosophical guy, and this guy works his butt off, and he has never won Mr. Olympia in his life, and that's his dream goal. That's his life. If you can say what he was born for, that's what he probably tell you. So how do we rectify that? How do we fix that issue? I think the only thing that you can really combat that against is having small successes in your life, because over time these things will heal, and these nightmares will slowly deteriorate. It's hard because you cannot blame fate or karma if you're doing everything right. It just doesn't make sense from a human. I'm talking from a strictly logical perspective. It doesn't make sense for you to blame it on something that's so vague and something that you cannot really account for. Like they don't say in your resume, oh, it was not in my fate. What is fate? Is it something? Is it a circumstance that you're controlling? Is it an element that really is in your thing? There's huge debate about free will versus predestination in theology. So are we predestined to be failed, or do we have the free will to control every element? And that's the thing. There's such a skewed balance of it. You really don't know which way you're swaying. If you have success in your life, then you can say, oh yeah, and this is the problem. You can be a great model citizen and still struggle in life, right? You can do everything right and still struggle in life. Whereas you can be, according to you can see a guy who has bad morals, right? Does everything wrong, maybe cheats, maybe does everything wrong according to human code. I'm not talking about religious bias here. I'm talking about human code, and is successful in life and is happy and content with what he's achieving or he's obtaining. So, I mean, who do you blame that on? I mean, do you just say fate, or do you say circumstances? It's a very vague issue, and to be honest, it took me a long time just to figure it out. I felt that it's a point that I need to discuss because good religious, pious individuals go through this at a lot of times. Not just Muslims, but I have Christian friends who have gone through this, and it's something. The only way to really combat or rectify this is to have small victories and small successes in your life to combat this, and over time it just heals. Obviously, eventually you'll find a good job. You will hit that plateau eventually. It might take. It's impatience. I think we have the determined individuals. They're so impatient and they live in a society where self-gratification is such a pivotal, such a pinnacle, that you need everything now. You get out of college, you have a credit card, you go and you buy, and you can own everything within your hands as long as you're willing to buy on credit. Because we live in and that's the hard part. Determined individuals cannot accept failures in their life, and over time it just frustrates them. The second thing is we live in a self-gratification society that kind of pressures us to not be patient. And if you have patience within yourself, and it takes time, it takes a lot of time, you will have more self-closures. You will be more in peace with yourself, knowing that you're the best that you can be, and that it just took you more time. It might take some individuals a short amount of time, it might take some individuals a big amount of time, or a long duration of time. It just really depends on your attributes and your personality. So yeah, I think those are just my thoughts about, distorted perception of reality and how we're so impatient just to achieve what we want in life. And that's what I really want to talk about. I mean, I don't have obviously it's not a black and white issue. I don't have a solution for it. It's a learning curve for me at this point. And just wanted to know what you guys thought about, if you don't exceed a reality that you guys were going for, what is the way that you combat that, or what is the way that you rectify it? Alright guys, hopefully this vlog made you think, made you self-reflect, made you meditate about your own thoughts, your own personal journey, and your own self-development. Alright, peace out.